What's up, everybody? How's it going? We got 40 of you in here already. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Y'all are the early ones. It's a good thing, though. Got Kenny in here with me now. Others joining in a little bit. Excited to recap kind of what we've talked about for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to go through all the different trainings from a high-level view, talk about some stuff, kind of generally getting to the principle of or the core, rather, of what is the best way to launch your real estate photo business going into 2024. We'll answer a bunch of questions. For those of you asking about Q&A, there will be Q&A. So excited to spend some time with Kenny with me, work together 4 years or so now. Kenny's helped me build my various businesses and is a great resource. So he'll be here to answer your questions as well. Where should we start, Mr. Kenny?
Let's get this going. I mean, a little recap to why we started doing the free training. Yeah, if you want to go through that.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you know, a lot of companies sell stuff on Black Friday. We decided to take a different model for the whole Black Friday season and do a bunch of free trainings. My goal is to give you enough value where you can look at this industry, decide you want to do it, have enough info to make a good decision, and then we'd love to work with you in coaching. And that's our ultimate play for you, is we'd love to work with you as we help you build your business. The cool thing about coaching is because we work with you directly, we can actually guarantee results, and we'd love to talk with you about what that looks like for you, because coaching is different for everybody, different for, because you have different goals, different timeline, everything like that. So if you haven't yet, I know many of you have during the last few trainings, if you haven't yet, grab a slot on our calendar, replaunch.com/apply. You'll talk with Rod, Philippe, or Carl on my team, all great guys that are good at helping people figure out what they want. And then ultimately, if coaching is the right thing for you, they'll help you with that as well. So highly encourage you, if you haven't booked an appointment yet. Those of you that have probably know that we're booked out for a while. I think there's probably some slots later next week or early the week after, but it's still pretty sparse. I was looking at the calendar earlier. So yeah, glad to have you all here. We're going to jump into the first training. I'm going to kind of recap the different trainings we did, because they all had a core theme that lead up to everything you need to know to launch your business successfully in 2024. Or if you already have a real estate media business, how you can make it better in 2024 and maybe get serious with it. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, is they never really just decide, right? They're kind of like one foot in, I'm going to try this on the side. And so I would invite you that if this is what you want to do, you want to be serious about your business, just make that commitment to yourself. That's the first commitment you have to make, right?
The cord, I think, might have been a little disconnected from your mic.
All right, is it back now?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Anyway, what I was saying is I want to invite you to get serious with yourself first. That's the first step you have to take, right? Is deciding. And maybe you decide it's not for you. You don't want to do real estate photography. But my goal is to encourage those of you that are on the fence. And you can own a business that does shoots and still be on the fence, meaning you're not committed, right? And so everything I teach is important, stuff you have to know. It's stuff I had to learn the hard way a lot of times. But the biggest thing you have to do first is commit. You have to decide that you're wanting to do this, right? I know that sounds kind of fluffy, but that's the biggest thing I see with people that are they go for a couple of years without getting much results because they're like 2 toes in committed, And so not saying you have to quit your job and jump all in, but I am saying that more than 2 toes is a good idea, right? You got to be at least somewhat committed to putting in the work. And the cool thing, at least for me, because I like this kind of work, is the work has nothing to do with becoming a better photographer. Has nothing to do with that. And so that's what we're going to start with first. First training was all about goals and how to reverse engineer what kind of income you'd need. So the first thing I want to do is ask you a question that we got 59 of you in here. So I'd love somewhere near 59 answers. And then I'm going to talk through this. And then by the time we get to the end, your answers will be in here and we'll kind of use some of them. So the first thing I'd like for you to do is put what a first income goal would be for you as a real estate photographer. So maybe that's enough that would allow you to quit your job. Maybe that's you already have a real estate photo business. You want to take it to the next level. Drop some goals in here, because I'm a big believer, and it sounds silly to say because it's like the only way you can do things, right? But I'm a big believer that you have to break down the math. You have to know your numbers if you want to at least have the best shot of getting to your goal, right? And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use some of the goals that you guys set in here. I'm going to break them down for you, and more importantly, show you how you can kind of reverse engineer that. So $3K a month, Justin, shoot higher. That's all I got to tell you. Andres, $4K a month. Nice. Justin, what would not just allow you to make similar to what you make now, maybe? What would allow you to really change things? What would be that next level for you? And the reason I'm encouraging you to go higher than 3K is just, in my opinion, too small of a goal right now. You got to start with a bigger one. And that's one of the reason I tell you that is because I had too small of a goal. I thought $4K a month, Justin, was like an unlimited amount of money when I was first starting. I was like, that's the dream, right? And then you get there and it's just not especially, things have changed since I thought 4K was a lot too. That was 10 years ago and more expensive. Now Mario said 6K a month. Nice. Sydney, 10K a month. I like the big one. Not even that big of a goal, which is a cool thing. I would encourage you guys to look more towards that number. Okay. So the first thing is, I want to talk a little bit about how, if you were here in the first training, you theoretically know how to do this a little bit, but I want to show you how to break down the numbers. So I'm going to go with, what number do you want me to start with, Kenny?
That's pretty good. There's a 15K a month.
Should I start with 15K?
Let's do 15K.
15. It's a big goal. And the cool thing about, first of all, Kenneth, thank you for putting that in here. The cool thing about 15K is that is the lowest amount we recommend you have your business make before you hire somebody. So we recommend everybody listening gets their business to at least 15,000 a month before you hire anybody. I know there's probably a lot of you thinking that's crazy. I could never do that. There's not enough hours in the day. I promise. It's just because you're spending time on things that don't matter, because we do this all of the time with coaching clients. In fact, in coaching, we strongly advise against anybody hiring before then, and it pushes them to get there. 18 and 20K is really what we push people for. And we have someone in coaching this week actually interviewing their first employee that got to that range and started earlier this year. So I know that may sound like a huge goal, but I like the thinking about 15K. So, okay, the first thing is across the board, you're going to see somewhere around the range of $250 average order value. And if you don't track or know what that is yet, here's what average order value is. You take all the shoots you did in the month. Let's say you did 12 shoots, right? And you take the number of money you made and divide it by that amount of shoots. And that tells you how much you make per shoot on average. We want to see at least $250 average order value. And that's if you're in a normal market. If you're in like California, if you're in Washington State, Florida, some places on the East Coast where it's a little higher cost of living, you need to be shooting for like 350 or 400. So just to make it not disappoint you when you get there, I'm going to use like the worst possible number, meaning like the easiest to get to, which is $250 per order, right? So I took 15,000 divided by 250 to make 15,000 in revenue. You have to get 60 jobs per month. Now there's approximately 22 business days in a month. So that shows you need to do about 2.7 shoots per day, less than 3 shoots per day to get to that 15K a month goal. Now, everybody else who's had lower numbers, I'm going to get to you in a second, but like, just think about that for a second. At my photo business, we have a team and we average 3 shoots a day, if not slightly over that per employee. So if you're thinking I could never do that, there's probably 2 reasons you're thinking that, right? Number one is because my shoots take 3 or 4 hours. I could not fit in 3 in a day. If that's you, I would challenge you that your process is way too complex. You should be shooting for more like an hour for an average shoot. A lot of times it doesn't even take that long. We give our photographers that work for us an hour to shoot base photos, and then we add on like 30 minutes for drones. So we give them 90 minutes of allotted time in the schedule. I was looking in Spiro, which is this company we use to manage our business, and all of them were like finishing shoots 45 minutes early, 30 minutes early. And some of these people don't have a lot of photo experience. They're newer to our team. And so if you're taking any more than an hour, hour and a half on average, you got to work on that first. You're probably shooting flash or you have some kind of complicated workflow. So I want you to bring that back, right? And then on the other side of things, maybe you just don't think you can get enough clients. And we'll talk about how many clients you'll need in a second to get similar numbers. But those both are, in my opinion, what we call limiting beliefs, things that you think have to be a certain way that aren't. And so that's the biggest thing I can say. I wish someone would have told me when I was first starting that I needed to go to 15K before I hired, or even that 15K a month was possible, right? Again, I'm not the guy, I try not to be the guy to sugarcoat it. And I don't want to tell you that it's going to be easy to get there. It's not, but you're going to spend the time doing something, and it is possible. That's what I'm saying. And not only is it possible, it's something we see a lot, right? It does take work. So yeah, $250 per shoot is average across the board, Vanessa. So this would be you're going to have some shoots that are maybe base photo packages that are $175, $150. And then you're going to have some shoots that maybe the agent went all out and they spent $600, $700, $800, $900 with you. It's the average, right? And that tells you across the board, tells you a lot of things, which I'm not going to dive into because we'd spend hours on it at this point, but it could tell you, hey, maybe you're not selling enough. Maybe your packages aren't structured right. Maybe your pricing's off, but you just want to shoot for that 250 number. And if you're above that, you can kind of say, hey, I'm good. I'm getting to a point where I want to be. And if you're below that, you need to fix something in your business. So that's the first one. You can break down the income goal you want. I'm going to go over to a smaller goal, which would be, let's do 4K a month, right? That's fairly average US income, 4K a month. So I think that's a good one to do. So $4,000 a month, teach you how to do this exactly. You can do it for yourself. So take your income, $4,000 a month divided by $250 average order value. You need to do 16 shoots a month. That is less than 1 shoot per business day to hit a 4K goal. And that shoot should take you at the most, when you're new and you're just not fast yet, at the very most, like an hour and a half, right? Maybe 2 hours if you're just a real slug. You want to go really slow. I encourage you not to be like that. Walk faster and get through the house. So that's, to me, I just didn't know this. Like, I went into the business blind. I had no idea. How many of you guys were here for that initial training and knew how to do that math? We'll get to questions that are off topic shortly, so everybody else asking those. Also, I forgot to mention, we said there's going to be a bonus for tonight. Don't worry, there's nothing you can buy. Nothing is for sale in this training. There is, if you stay to the end, a bonus that you will want to stay for that will be good value. So we'll be here for about an hour. Hang out with us. It's for those who are putting in the work being here. Those are the people we want to be at this secret thing, which you'll learn about in a second. So again, it's free, but you should stay till the end. Anything else I should say about it, Kenny, or is that a good enough teaser for now?
Good enough.
Is my mic cutting out this time?
No, your mic is good now.
Oh, that's good. Let's see. Okay, so that kind of breaks down the math. The next thing is, how many clients do you need to have to get there? What we found is, on average, you'll make between $100 to $200 per client per month. Now, what that doesn't mean is that every client's going to pay you $200, right? Some are going to book with you every week. Some book with you every day. I mean, you can get clients to do 20 listings a month as a big brokerage, right? Maybe they pool together or whatever. And some clients are not going to use you for 3 months, but we need to have a number, right? We need to know how many clients we're going to shoot for. So let's say we wanted to make, I'll go in the middle. I'll do $8,000 a month. I'm going to divide 8,000 by $100, which is the minimum you'll get per client per month on average. You need 80 clients, 80 real estate agents to call you when they have a listing, and you have that business right there at the minimum, right? We have a metric that we love. It's fun to talk about. And we've never seen someone with 100 clients make less than 100 grand in revenue, right? It's normally like 150, because it's normally somewhere between $100 and $200 per client per month. So 150. I don't know if that, maybe some of you that's inspiring, some of you that's scary, but think about, there's less than 100 agents standing between you and a 6-figure business. You just have to get 100 people. Now, if you Google how many real estate agents in your area, that number is going to shock you, right? In DFW, the market we operate in, the market we grew into, starting in a small town, but grew into a bigger Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's like 30 to 40,000 licensed agents. And to get a 6-figure business, you would just need 100 of them at the best, right? You could probably have a 6-figure business with a lot smaller, because it depends on the client. So do you guys know how to calculate that at this point? Does that give you some information? I'm big on starting with the numbers. Then we can talk about everything else, how to get there. We need to talk about how to get clients. We'll talk about that in a minute. What you're actually doing when you work for a client, how you're shooting as someone who doesn't have any photo experience. Just a quick side hint, nobody has photo experience when they start, even the best photographers, right? But the good news is, you don't need to be a photographer to do this business, right? It's not like other types of photography. I always kind of make the joke, it's not really a joke, but like, other photography is artistic. Real estate photography is a science, which means you just repeat the process every single time and you get consistent results. And so that's what we do. Cool. Everybody get it on that? You know how to break down the income goals? Yeah. $277 average order value last month. So you're just above what you need to be to have what we consider a healthy business. What market are you in? Okay. Moving on. Next, when you know how to break down your goals, is you need to know what type of clients you're going for. And this is where so many real estate photographers get it messed up completely, right? There are 2 different types of real estate photography, meaning you're taking photos of homes or buildings, right? One is architectural photography, and one is just standard real estate photography. If you are using our model, you don't want to be going for these high-end expensive properties. And there's a couple reasons for that. And it's kind of why we use our model, because I think it's just the best way to make money. And that's why I started my business. I wanted to make money, right? Architectural photography, there's a lot less potential business for it, right? Because most homes don't need super fancy high-end photos that are going to cost thousands of dollars. There's, like I said, because there's less homes, there's less clients that are going to hire you to do that. Where on the other side of the equation, we shoot for standard, normal real estate agents listing average price homes, right? The bottom 80% of homes. We don't even really focus on the expensive stuff because it just doesn't pay like the average homes do, because they're so consistent. And so one thing I encourage you to do that's kind of fun is go to Zillow, or just go to your browser and type in like homes for sale in wherever city you're in, Durango, Colorado, Cincinnati, Ohio, whatever it is, right? All of those homes, just look, see if they're professionally photographed. Those are all jobs that somebody in your area got paid to shoot. And so that for me is another cool thing at the start that was just fun to see, right? I'm like, all those red dots on Zillow, those are all jobs that I could have shot. I encourage you to go do that right now. It's fun. Okay. The next thing we are moving to is the type of photography, or how we recommend shooting. I kind of mentioned it with the architectural side of things, but the extent to which you become a better photographer is not the extent to which you get paid more. It's usually the opposite. So the more you focus on, hey, how do I make my photos 1% better? What can I add to my workflow? The less money you're going to make. And I know for a lot of photographers that like breaks their mind. There's a reason that this term, the starving artist, exists, right? Because a lot of people who are artistically talented, they think that getting better at that is going to make them more money. And they wonder why it doesn't happen. And it's because that is not what makes you more money. I can only speak for real estate photography, but in this business, the bigger you want to get your business, the more you work on making your workflow simple, duplicatable, and fast, right? You want to take stuff out. And so what I would encourage you to do, if you only take one thing away from the training tonight, it's if you decide to become a real estate photographer and build a real estate photo business, do not spend any more time than is the bare minimum needed on how you shoot photos, videos, 3D tours, all of your products, right? Everybody pretty much does the same thing. We shoot 3-bracket HDR, which if you don't know what that is, you can Google 3-bracket HDR. It's really simple. We outsource all of our edits. We get back great photos the next morning. We deliver them to our clients. We don't use any flash on camera or off camera. You don't need expensive gear. I'm going to put my gear link in the chat right now. So if you want to see what gear to use, that'll be in the chat there. Let's see. Eli Jones. Cool. Put in the chat to keep your workflow simple, keep your gear simple. And the biggest thing I can recommend out of all, so you know your income, you know how you're going to shoot photos, or at least you have some ammo on how to look it up. I did a full training on that. It's on my YouTube. It's archived, so you can watch that. I have a bunch of other videos that cover that. Then the third thing is, and this is the most important thing by far, spend the majority of your time trying to get clients. Like I know if you guys have listened to anything I've said, it's like a broken record, right? I'm always like, go get more clients, go get more clients, go get more clients, spend time on that. Because that's what absolutely grows your business. Angel, it's 3-bracket HDR. I have a training on it on my YouTube too. 3-bracket HDR.
Also, I love this comment. This one right here. You just need one agent to refer 10 agents, and each of those agents refer 10, and there's your 100.
There's your 100 clients. Yes, you hit it on the head too, because this business is so referral driven, right? All these real estate agents that you work for work together on deals every single day, and for the most part, work physically together in an office, right? And so your business, most of the clients at my business, Norman and Young, are referral clients. They were referred to us, right? We use the Instagram method that we talk about a lot. If you don't know what that is, there's a workshop that's linked in the bio of all my social media. It's free. You can watch it, where I teach about the Instagram method. That is what starts the ball rolling. Think about like a snowball rolling down the hill, right? You have to like make the initial snowball and then get it rolling. But once that thing starts rolling, it doesn't stop. And that's what referrals are. So that's an awesome comment there. It's definitely true. Okay. Should we jump into some Q&A? What should we talk about?
Yeah, Q&A is good. I guess from what you just talked about just like we follow the 80-20 rule. And so as long as your photos, videos, workflow, literally everything is 80% there, that extra 20% will not make a difference. We've noticed that, that extra 20% of effort will really just create a 3% difference. And so is that really worth your time? No, absolutely not. You're wasting time, and time is money right there. And so, just keep everything super simple, simplify your process, your workflow, and just watch how your business grows.
Yeah, and the cool thing that I didn't do at the start, but I try to always do now with anything I'm working on, is I don't go, okay, how am I going to build this, right? I start, and then I don't try to figure it out. I go, who has what I'm trying to build right now, and how do they do it? Mm-hmm. And so what we've learned, it's really funny, is so like photographers who have a smaller business than Norman and Young. In my business, we do about 3,200 shoots in a year. The last year to date is like 3,260 shoots or something. So we do a good amount of shoots, but I know a business owner who does 12,000 shoots a year at his business, right? Not himself. He has a big team, dozens of photographers, but he spends way less time on his photos and his editing and how they're not him. He doesn't do any work in that sense, right? He has teams for it, but they spend less time on that than my business does. They spend probably around the same time shooting, but a lot less time on post-processing. They upload straight from their editors. They don't have a lot of quality control. They do more, or they do less to their photos than I do, right? And his business is 4 times the size of mine. And then you have people, smaller businesses than mine, who do more quality control than I do. So it's like the bigger the business, the more they know that isn't important. But if you look at a lot of the photographers who are just starting, they think, hey, I'm getting into a photography business. It makes sense, right? I should become a good photographer. So they spend a lot of time in an area that doesn't matter. But what I would encourage you, and something Kenny says a lot, is like, you're getting into a business, not a photography business. Don't attach the word photography at the start, or you're going to mislead yourself. right? And you're going to start focusing on, you're going to say, hey, what would a photographer do? You don't want to ask yourself, what would a photographer would be broke is what they would do, not on purpose, but because they focus on things that don't matter. I don't want that for you. That's what I've built my entire education business on the premise of, right? Is like, you don't have to be. Photographers are broke. Business owners make money, you know? And so I'd like you to be on that side of it. And if you want to use that business that you've built to be artistic, awesome, right? But don't think artistic results are what drive business results. It's just not the case at all.
For sure.
Dave Burley, how's it going, sir? Let's see. Let me find another comment I want to pull up here. Is there a Facebook group or a person you recommend to reach out to for photo editing? Yeah, I'm going to put a company in the chat here that is kind of like Fiverr for real estate photo editors. If you've used Fiverr before, it's like a marketplace where you can find real estate photo editors. I drop it in there. I put the /rep at the end because I think you get some credit if you sign up using our link. They're cool. They're actually part of our rep community. They built a real estate media business, and then they're like software engineers / interested in that space on the side. So they went all in and built a great business out there. Let's see. Eric had a question. Can one start? I accidentally almost just blocked you from the stream by hitting the wrong button, Eric. Can one start this without doing drone video, 3D VR? Can I just start doing basic skills? Yes, absolutely. You can start with just still photos. I would encourage you, if you like, right now, if you were a coaching client of mine, we would start you as fast as possible with stills, but we would try to get everything else to you as fast as possible. You can buy cheap equipment, right? We can teach you how to do it really well, but it's important to be a one-stop shop. So you can absolutely start with just photos, but my recommendation is always to add those other services as fast as possible because it will open up the pool of agents that want to work with you. They don't want to have to call one guy for video, one guy for photos, one guy for drone. You know, it makes sense to do it all. So you can absolutely start. Nothing should come in your way of starting. If you have a crappy camera right now, that doesn't stop you. If you can only offer photos, that shouldn't stop you. If you don't have, if it's not the perfect time, that shouldn't stop you. And the reason I say that is because one of the biggest things that I see holding people back is that they always put something between now and when they're going to start. It's never going to feel like a perfect time to start your business, right? Like the lie that people tell themselves all the time is like, hey, I'll start, in January. I'm busy right now. And it's like, have you ever not been busy? Like, has there ever been a time in your life where it's just really perfect to start a business? Like, if you think back, no, right? And so what you're telling yourself, and this is something Alex Hormozy says that I like, is he says when you're telling yourself, hey, I'm going to do this then because I'm busy now, you're saying anytime you're busy, you're unwilling to do something else, right? And you're always going to feel busy. So it's never going to feel like the right time. And so definitely just, you gotta like, everybody here who wants to have a real estate photo business in 2024, you are started now. Maybe it's not official, right? Maybe you're not forming your business legally yet, which, side note, that's such an easy process. A lot of people overcomplicate that, right? But you're started. And so what do you do when you start a business? Well, you need to absorb knowledge. You need to learn a bunch of stuff. You can do that on YouTube. You can do that through coaching, which if you're serious, I encourage you to apply for. You got to start absorbing knowledge. You got to get the required stuff in place, maybe some gear, maybe whatever you need to do. Maybe you need to make an LLC, right? But you're started today. And I want you to start telling your brain, I have the business. I just got to build it. Right? Rather than waiting 3 months to then say you're started and have to do the same thing. So everybody here is started. The best time is now. Best day was yesterday. Or what's the quote, Kenny? It's like the first best day was last year. Then the second best day is today.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So yes, sir, Dave.
Peach.
The fun part of what's that, Kenny? Peach. I don't know if you guys caught my Instagram story the other day, but I've been like trying to go to the gym, be consistent with myself. Cause like I talk about consistency all day. So anyway, I, in business at least. And so I've been posting my story to kind of like let everybody know into my journey, like what I'm doing, hold me accountable, which has been fun to get your DMs about that. But I posted, I'm on a gym steak, like STEAK instead of a streak. And like one of my buddies texted me, another one messaged me like, what is that? And I was like, oh, messed it up. So, anyway. That is a good rate for editing. 80 cents per image is pretty good. Why did you change from SLR to mirrorless? That's just kind of where tech is going. Like the M50 that we went to a cheap camera on purpose for my entire business. All of our photographers, I think a year and a half ago, 2 years ago at this point, show that you can do it with a cheap camera. It was like we were using more expensive cameras and I was recommending everybody use a cheap one. I was like, no, we're going to switch. We're going to like go all in and show you that it can be done. We did it for a year. The only reason we switched, well, and that was really to like mirrorless, which was a cheaper mirrorless than the SLR before. The reason we upgraded to a more expensive camera now, so we recommend the M50 when you're for a Canon M50. The battery life is awful. And so when you're shooting like our photographers are 3+ homes per day, it's like worth it to buy a little bit more expensive gear just for that. And the quality is a little better on videos, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, here we go.
Here's a good one.
That's what I was looking for. I said it, but yep, we are offering Zillow tours on our order form now. Let's see what else you guys have. I think we're caught up-ish. Growing clients that struggle in this market, a lot of future interest, but most are turning through listings now, or not turning through listings now. Cold calling, broker presentations, networking events. Yes. Okay. So there's like 2 things to think about right now, Colin, and for everybody else too. There's market timing. And I don't mean the market in terms of it's a good or bad market. I just mean literally the time of year. December is always slow in like every market except Florida. But that doesn't mean that you're not doing work. So like when you're putting in the work, and I'll talk more about this in a second, but if you're getting future interest, that is going to come pay dividends in February when the market goes back in for the year and starts back up. You will get listings now. It's just most agents don't have one right now, and December is usually a little slower. That does not mean you should let the gas off. It actually means you should push harder, right? Because a lot of people just let it off right now, and they're like, oh, there's nothing now anyway. Like my business will still do tens of thousands of dollars worth of shoots in December, right? So they are out there. It's just not as busy as we are in June. And so I would encourage you not to let that slow you down. You know, there's like generally a phrase that is out there, you know, or maybe a concept more. Most people will do something that rewards them immediately, right? So for example, eating good food. Like you're just going to want to go eat that, right? Whereas it's harder to stop eating and lose weight or go to the gym or whatever it is because you don't see the result instantly. It's delayed. And that's what people suck at, right? And so in busy season, you know, in the height of the summer, it's really easy to start getting clients and get them immediately, right? So you want to do it. You want to put in the work. In December, you message, a bunch of people are like, yeah, I'll use you, and you don't really get much. You can still get results. Let's talk about that in a second. But you maybe don't get as many, and so it's discouraging, so you stop. But either way, you were still adding the total number of clients. You were still going up in number of clients. They just don't have a listing now. So if you stop, what you'll miss out on is a really busy February. And so I would encourage you to just keep going with that. That being said, the way you reach out is important. We teach something called the Instagram method. I don't recommend doing anything else at the start until you're at least doing 10K a month. All of our coaching clients, we help them really dial in the Instagram method and get a ton of results from it because we like tweak a bunch of stuff. You can do that for yourself, even if you're not in coaching, right? So rather than do a bunch of different stuff, I would encourage you to just do the Instagram method. There is a workshop linked in my bio on all social medias. It's free. It's like an hour long and it teaches the Instagram method in there. So I would go watch that if you don't yet. And it's so, to me, I love the Instagram method because it's so simple, right? Where people kind of get messed up is it's simple, but it's not really easy because you have to like, you know, kind of overcome your own psychology because it's boring, right? And so that's the only thing I would say about it is you got to go into this saying, I'm going to do 1,000 cycles of the Instagram method. I want to send 1,000 DMs. You do that, you will have a business if you follow what I say. If you spam DM 1,000 agents, you're not going to have a business. But if you follow what's in that training, you'll definitely get results. And then you'll believe me. And then it's a good time to hit that replaunch.com/apply and join coaching so we can help you scale it up. Let's see. When should you consider getting an LLC? I'm kind of a fan of just doing it at the start. I mean, it's really simple to get set up. Like if you can look up how to do it in your state because it's different for every state, or you can just go to like LegalZoom and get it set up, but it's pretty simple.
All of our coaching students, as soon as they start, that's what we have them do. That's on our check.
Like first week. It's a lot of people get worried about how it's complicated to start. Like it is, I promise you it's not complicated. It's going to take you like, if you now went and researched for 30 minutes, you would know exactly how to do it. And then you'd be done. It's just one of those things that seems complicated. So people are like, oh, I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to push that off. I'm going to do the easy stuff now. And then you just don't know that it literally just was easy. Let's see. What would you charge for the following? So here's my recommendation on this, Jadiel. I would look up competitors in your area and price around them. The key here is don't price under them. I don't think you have anything to gain by that. I recommend, if you find a bunch of competitors, you should be in the top 50% of the pricing. In my business, we're in the top 20%. And that's not, a lot of people are like, oh, it's because you guys are good. Like we shoot the same way you can shoot from day one. And so there's no reason not to be. Now, maybe you can't go top 20% from day one, but there's no reason not to be in the top 50%. And I would just look at your local market. Jamie, go to my bio on either Instagram or here on YouTube or wherever you're watching this, maybe on Facebook, and you'll see it in there. It's a workshop you sign up for. It's free. Let's see. Yeah, business insurance is, I mean, in my opinion, a really good idea. It's going to cost you less than $50 a month. Let's see. Okay, what are your thoughts on reaching out to construction companies for slow seasons? Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea if you need the business right now. I would say that ultimately you really want to work with a lot more. I mean, builders are one thing. Sure, go for builders all day long. I would say other than that, I would really just keep reaching out to realtors, because if you look at your income on a yearly basis, like you'll make more the more clients you have that are realtors. So I would focus on doing a lot of the Instagram method in off season. Let's see. Oh, nice. Any other options to stand out competitively? Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what you should do to stand out, in my opinion, Colin, is not any of that. I mean, that's good, right? But like the service you provide, how friendly you are, how fast your stuff comes back. You really just want agents to like trust you with their clients. If you can do that, then you've pretty much beat the game of real estate media. And so I would just work on that. Like make sure you can show up looking better at your next shoot, dress a little nicer, right? They'll never hate that. You can spend a little more time to prep the house if it makes sense. They'll never hate that, right? You can deliver your photos back a little sooner in the morning. They'll never hate that. So that's where I would work on it. And just all goes back to like people will work with you. The price is not the reason they work with you. And usually it's not even the services you offer. It's like the way the experience goes for them. So like if they can trust you, if it's always back on time, that kind of stuff. So I'd focus more on that side of the business. That's kind of like our secret weapon with coaching clients and how we get them to grow so quickly is like we help them not focus on this. We help them dial everything else in. And that's where the secrets are, right?
Also, build that relationship that you already have with your clients. Call them up, ask them how they're doing. See if there's anything that you can improve on. Just little things like that go a long ways for the agents, because then they actually feel like you care about them, which you do because you want them to stay your clients. And so just those little things with customer service and just making sure that they're happy with you, it's just going to work a lot for you rather than doing those little things here and there.
Should I tell a story about the two photographers? Yeah, it's a good time for this. So this really, it illustrates like what actually matters in this business. So back in the day, we had two different photographers at our business, and one of them was technically a very good photographer, never missed anything, always shot all the rooms, settings were always locked in. They did a good job, right? Never made a mistake shooting ever, never missed a room, like I said. But they weren't as outgoing and they weren't as focused on the client. They were more focused on like getting the product perfect, right? And I think that's why they did a good job. And we had another photographer who was kind of an awful photographer and like missed stuff all the time, like just wouldn't shoot rooms of the house, or like the agent would say something, they wouldn't really like hear it because they were talking to the agent, but they were very fun to talk to, great at building relationships, just warm person, like easy to talk to, right? That person, the worst photographer, was our number one requested photographer. And the person who was a great photographer never had agents request them, right? Because the relationship matters more than the product. And the funny thing is, the clients who liked that photographer, who was really outgoing and friendly and like easy to work with, they thought he had better photos, even with all the mistakes, because they liked him. And so that shows you what's really important. It's really funny how that works. If they don't like you, they're not going to like the photos. So going more towards being accommodating, friendly. There's a great book I recommend, kind of a classic at this point in the personal development world, called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Watch that or listen to it. You can't watch it. I think there actually is a movie on that, but it's a whole different story. But read it. It's by, isn't Napoleon Hill? Yeah. How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it will talk about how you can do that, right? How you can be that person that's enjoyable to be around. That if you do that and you're a real estate photographer, your business will grow faster than you know what to do with. It just will, right? It's like the number one secret. Yeah, so this is why you see this. And this is why it's such a bad idea to think the best competitor to model is the one with the good photos, right? Because you can't see behind their business. They very well may. Oh, Dale Carnegie. That's right. No, not Napoleon Hill, which is another classic personal development author. But thanks for that, Andres. I think from all these lives, my throat is just dead already, mister. Let's see. What is involved in prepping the house? It depends on the shoot. Some you get to and they're like perfect and ready to go. For a normal house, it's usually like kind of cleaning up the countertops, like maybe taking some like soaps and paper towels and other stuff and putting it under the sink, maybe straightening like hand drying towels because they're usually messed up, fixing pillows, hiding trash cans, pet stuff like food, water bowls, that kind of thing. And then like other than that, it could be like straightening furniture. It just depends. Like sometimes you go into a house and it's like most people don't live very clean. And so while this is probably the cleanest their house has ever been, it might not be like show ready. So that's kind of what we do. Put toilet seats down, that kind of stuff. How much do you turn over monthly with your biggest customer?
Jared's here.
Oh, what's up, Jared? Jared, without saying the name of our biggest customer, I don't want anyone to snipe them. How much does our biggest customer pay us per month? You think it's like 40 grand a year, maybe? So 3,000-4,000 a month.
Yeah, something like that. Even more because they just came back and said they want reels on every single shoot. Now.
Oh, yes, sir. For everybody else, the average order value that we talked about earlier. Let's see. Were you successful in putting your kids to bed, Jared?
No, they're still up. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was at 7, so we were at HEB.
Well, all the other ones have been at 7. So anyway, Jared's in here now for everybody that maybe audio only. Jared ran Norman & Young, my photo business, from 2019 through the start of this year. Now he is a full-time coach on our coaching team, helps us build this business, and still technically is CEO of Norman & Young. Let's see. What other questions you guys have? Yes, Vanessa, we do have a pre-shoot checklist. I think it's a great idea. The company we use to manage our business now is called Spiro. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Love the business. I've actually had a cool opportunity to work as a partner in the business with Todd, the founder. Todd has a great real estate media business. They do 12,000 shoots a year, which is insane. If you do the math on that, like I think there's 280 business days in a year. I haven't done the math on this recently. Yeah. So like they average 42 shoots a day, somewhere in that per business day, which is wild. So anyway, we use Spiro.media and it allows a pre-shoot checklist to be automatically texted out to your client and the homeowner if they decide to. So check out Spiro if you haven't yet. It's great software. That was before we even had the chance to work with him. We had to like be recommending the best out there. And so when that box was checked, I was excited to get to join their team in some capacity. So check them out. It's a cool service for managing your schedule. Clients can book online. They get an order portal. They can order through invoicing, photo delivery, everything. It's awesome. So, and it's only $5 a project, no base monthly fee. So check it out.
Answer to this question is Spiro too.
Yeah. So that's a good question, Brandon. The part of like, I think making your business grow is like building systems that are great and that are professional. And so I'd recommend using something like Spiro to deliver through. It's just a lot more seamless of a process. Google Drive is frustrating.
If you're not going to use literally anything but Google Drive. Google Drive is the worst storage system out there. It's disgusting.
Let's see. Is it easy to make $100K a month? No, it's not easy, right?
No
business is easy to make $100K a month with, but it's possible. There are plenty of real estate media businesses that do that. Philippe and I spoke, but I didn't realize the price for coaching with the goal I had in mind wasn't the only price. Yeah, talk back with Philippe, Sydney. He can kind of walk you through that. Let's see. How much more for a reel do you add to the package? How much do we charge?
So we do 125 a la carte, 95 if it's with a package or another video as an upsell. Building it into a package for that specific brokerage, I think we're doing. Trying to think. I think we're doing it for 85. So okay. I think it's 85 on top of their normal package that they already have.
Do I buy the gear now and go all in? No experience doing this, worried to buy everything, then give up? Yeah, I mean, I can't control whether you give up or not, Jeremy. I would say that you could start with, so like you can get the gear tomorrow if you needed to, right? Like you could Amazon Prime that stuff, you could get to you quickly. What about starting with the other side, Jeremy? So, maybe trying to get some clients using the Instagram method, maybe building out your Instagram page like we teach, that kind of stuff. I would maybe start with that. But I think skin in the game is important. So I think the biggest thing, and this is where a lot of people get messed up when they're starting businesses, is they think it's all about the tactics, right? They think about, oh, I need to learn this stuff. I need to do this stuff. But like the biggest thing you have to do is figure out how to get yourself in a position that won't allow you to quit when you run into the first obstacle or like the first, oh, maybe this isn't going to work. Or like everybody feels, you're laying in bed at 10 p.m. and you're going, what am I doing starting a real estate? You get that imposter syndrome, right? Everybody feels that. And so I do think skin in the game is important. And the point I was getting to is like business is understanding how to leverage your psychology. So if you know, Jeremy, that for you personally, you need to have some skin in the game, get some skin in the game. What I'm not saying is blow a ton of money on gear. Go to the kit link. Do you have that, Jeremy? The gear recommendations? Look at the budget kit. Don't start with anything more expensive than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would counter your question with the question like, are you going to give up? Because if so, you should not buy all the gear. But if you're willing to push through and do it and not give up, then yeah, absolutely do it.
Our coaching clients who have had like the best success, they've all said, whatever it takes. They actually spoke at our conference this month, 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. It's only been a month. But yeah, that's all they really talked about. Like they went all in, and it's like whatever it takes, and they just made it happen. One of our top guys, he made 25K in his first 3 months.
On his third month, he made 25K, let alone the first 2. And he moved to a new city with no job. He was like all in. So I understand skin in the game is important. Just for me, it'd be scary to do that, maybe too scary. But you have to figure out what's for you. Nice, Jeremy.
Like the comment, just send it.
Yeah, send it. I would recommend, Jeremy, telling people that you're doing it, because it's going to give you that social pressure of like your friends being like, what happened to that dog? And so I would encourage you to just tell people you're doing it. Some people will try to be discouraging, but you just need to show them, right? So commit. Don't be 1 foot in is the biggest piece of advice I can give you. Quick side note here for everybody who's just joining. We said in the emails, which is probably how you ended up here, that there's going to be a surprise when we end. And we've hinted at that surprise a little bit. And you're really going to like it. In order to get access, you have to stay to the end. It's free. There's no pitch coming. My goal is to give you a bunch of information for free, show you about this industry until you're committed. And then I'd love to work with you in coaching to help make it a reality for yourself, right? To help make it come true. So stay around for that. It's going to be pretty cool. Anything else I should add? I'm trying to like think of one more fun thing, but either way, you'll enjoy it.
I don't know what it is. So
it's $3.99, as in $0, not even 99 cents. So Jared legitimately has no idea what it is.
I have no idea
because we came up. So it's at Spiro HD Photo. Vivian, we use Spiro now. Norman and Young, my business is running on Spiro, and we love it. Richard, what's going on? Let's see. Kevin said, I only have experience with short-term rentals. How can I transition to landing real estate shoots instead? Kevin, honestly, the Instagram method that we teach is your best bet. That's what we have everybody do. It's like the proven thing to get real estate agent clients. It's good that you've already been shooting for STRs, so you like know the game there, but I would go watch. It's in my bio. It's linked. It's a workshop. It talks about the Instagram method. Let's see. Yeah, should I give a high level view on the Instagram method, Kenny? We got time.
Yeah, we got time. Let's do it.
Yeah, so ultimately, there's 3 steps to the Instagram method. And you'll want to watch this training to get a little more in depth. You make an Instagram profile for your business. The key here is don't just make it your logo and a bunch of pictures of houses. Like, get a bunch of photos of you in there. Your profile picture should be you, but it's about your real estate photo business. If you want to get an idea for what your profile could look like, you can go to our Instagram at Norman and Young. The only thing is, when you're a small business, you don't want to have your logo as a profile photo. Nobody knows who that is. We have a team, so we can't just put someone's face on there, but you can, and that's a big advantage. So that's step number 1, is build an Instagram account that looks good. Step number 2 is you're going to find real estate agents on Instagram. And the easiest way to do this is go to the search button and search hashtags that real estate agents would use. So for example, let's say you live in Dallas. You would search hashtag Dallas Realtor. People using that hashtag, I almost guarantee you, are 100% Dallas real estate agents, right? If you do just like hashtag real estate agent, you're going to get agents all over the world. But if you do like Fort Worth Homes or Fort Worth Homes for Sale or Fort Worth Real Estate Agent or like Cincinnati Homes, you're going to find real estate agents. You're going to follow all those agents and you're going to build a list and you're following. Some are going to start to follow you back and you're going to engage with them meaningfully. Comment on their posts, react to their stories, that kind of thing. And if you say, hey, I don't really know how to use Instagram, you're about to learn. We get a lot of that from people who are like, oh, just don't do that. That's your generation. I'm going to hold you accountable. That has nothing to do with that. You have to go learn something new. It doesn't matter if you're 19 or you're 89. Instagram's how you're going to do it, and I promise you can learn it. So don't let that be a mental block for you. Go get on Instagram, learn how to do it. You're not having to become a social media marketer, right? Or an influencer. You just need to use Instagram as a tool. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is you're going to direct message those agents with a custom message. Don't spam, don't copy and paste, or Instagram's not going to let you send messages anymore, and offer them a free first shoot. If you think you're too good to offer a free first shoot, you will continue to stay poor in this business. So offer the free first shoot. We did an entire training on that. It was one of the last live. Talked all about why free is just the best way to do it. And if you're instantly like, you're like, oh man, I would never do free, you especially should go watch that training. Maybe I don't change your mind, maybe I do, but I would look at it that way. The fastest growing businesses that we've seen and that we've got to work with and help are people who offer free. It is the fastest way to make money, right? Sounds funny, right? Offering free is the fastest way to make money. It just is. So that's the Instagram method as an overview. Yep. Zero. What's that?
Oh, the one you clicked on originally. We can go back to it.
Oh, I missed it. Which one was it?
Would you recommend starting a business by yourself or joining someone else's? Absolutely not. Like, you're going to join somebody else's business to learn the easiest part of this, which is shooting the photos. It's the easiest part. You can do that on your own. If the business that hires you is well set up, they're going to have you under a non-compete. So you're not going to be able to compete in their area. And they're going to have it very fragmented where all you're going to learn is how to shoot the photos. You're not going to learn what editors they use, what back-end processes they use. None of that. Norman and Young, my photographers, don't know my editors. They don't know any of the back-end stuff. Everything is fragmented. All they do is send me their raws.
Yeah. Well, and the truth is, I see what you're trying to do, Andre. You're trying to figure out how to get experience. What Jared said that was really important too is that what you are going to learn is not the hard stuff to learn. It's really easy. And so, for example, when we work with coaching clients, right? We help them build their business. We have them do 2 practice shoots of their own house and maybe 1 friend's house. And then they go do a real shoot and their photos are awesome from the first shoot, because what really matters is the settings you use and the editor. Like, that's actually what matters. You have to know the angles a little bit, but that's easy. So I would not recommend doing that. You can go to YouTube University, and learn everything on there. Or if you want to go fast, and you want guaranteed results and you're serious and committed, you can get coaching with us, which the link is below, replaunch.com/apply. Let's see.
I like this.
Free samples at Costco works for generating new business. So does a free shoot. Yeah. The good thing is, though, when you convert a client, they pay you hundreds of dollars a shoot or hundreds of dollars a month in the future. They don't just buy hot dogs from you. So that's the good news. It's a lot bigger payoff too. Let's see. Who do we want to pull up here? And ask questions if you guys have them. It's your chance to dive in. You got our coaching team here, and
Nedvishka's was pretty good. Do you Spiro as well as a business owner to deliver, communicate between photographers and client? I mean, we use that. That's
part
high
of it.
level. Yeah, we use it for some of that. Talking to our photographers, we do that mostly in Slack. Talking to our clients, we do that mostly through our admin. We have a voice over IP phone number that they call, or we have email, text, all that. So we don't talk to our clients through Spiro. And photographers can leave notes for our editors and stuff through Spiro.
It's a cool
system.
For the
most part, we talk in Slack.
Yeah. Jeremy, yes, please do at least 1 practice shoot before you go shoot for a client. But don't do 10. But 1, 2, 3 is fine. Once you're confident with your photos, you'll go out and shoot, and that's the best learning. You're going to learn on the site, on the spot. Rod, what's going on? Speaking of Rod, Rod is one of our 3 that you'll get to talk to if you want to learn more about coaching. So that team that gets to talk with you, Rod, Carl, and Philippe, their job is to be good at helping people figure out what they want and what they're trying to do. So if you think you're interested in real estate photography, if you're just trying to get some clarity, talk with them. They can share more with you about what coaching looks like and generally help you figure out if the industry is right for you. And for anybody that's here that's talked to Rod, Carl, or Philippe, chime in. They're fun to talk to, and they're good at their job, and they're good at helping you figure out kind of what your goal is and helping you out. Because that's the first step. That's what we started the first training for the Black Friday is Free series with, is setting your goal, right? And so that is step 1. You have to set a goal, and you have to have kind of ironed out your mindset of what you want to have happen. And so if you haven't, Rod's one of the guys you'll get to talk to.
Can we hit Nedvishka's again?
We can.
That broke mindset. That one right there. So that's a broke mindset. I mean, if you do that 20 times, then you have what? 120 shoots a year. I mean, you just got to compound that. That's how business works. You're not going to find one that's going to feed you. You got to find 20 that are going to feed you, and then 50, and then 100. You know, that's just
well, and you're also going to get agents that come back 2 weeks later with another shoot. But the thing that I would challenge you to think of, and why Jared said it's kind of a broke mindset, it's something you're focusing on what's not going to work. But if you think about it, if you don't offer anything, you're also not going to get money from this, right? So worst case scenario with the method, I said you don't make money, but we've never seen that happen when people do it, right? But I guarantee you, if you don't do anything, you're not going to make money from real estate media. So it's kind of
I think Eli said our top 20% is more than half of our revenue. That those people are rare. majority of your clients are going to be those 2 or 3 a month people. You know,
But you
so if
can't
you get
forget about
100 of those, you're going to be doing just fine.
You can't forget about the referrals as well. So like,
Yeah.
even if they're not shooting a lot or having listings a lot, they still have friends that are agents as well. They're going to recommend you. And so that's how you're going to get your schedule all booked up.
Yeah.
And
There's
then
a quote
2
I
above
like,
that
which
was a
is,
good question.
it's a Hormozy quote, which I go back to a lot, which is helping or being poor sucks more than helping people for free. Right. And so my whole thing, everything Kenny, Jared, Aaron, and our coaching team teach, and like how we help people build their business, is we challenge this, because this is not what happens. You are going to get paying jobs your first month if you follow our method, right? Worst case scenario, your second month. So I don't want you to work for free. That's not why any of us start businesses. I just know the fastest way to get you paid is to have a good offer, a lead magnet, right? A lead magnet is something that what the future value of working with you is going to be. And if you do that well, that is the fastest way to get their business and start money. Okay. What was the question you wanted to grab, Jared?
2 up from it. It's just on distance covered.
Okay, yeah.
Thoughts on distance covered, trying to stick to a 1 hour radius. Basically, short answer for that is if it is somewhere that you want long-term to be in, to have a presence in a lot, then don't charge mileage for it. If it's not somewhere you really care about or think you're going to grow into, then charge mileage for it.
Let's see. Okay. Do you have these clients on retainers? Nope. They get to work with us because they like working with us, and that's how we keep them clients. We just do a good job. It's not common in real estate media to have contracts or retainers in that sense. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about, so like, I want to move back to, I think the majority of you guys watching right now, there's 96 of you. I would guess the majority of you are thinking about starting or trying to get started. And so I want to move towards questions about that, because that's what I love to do here on YouTube, is help people, you know, and maybe Facebook Live if you're watching on there, help people figure out kind of their mindset, what they want to do in their next step. So you want to start a real estate photo business. You're listening to me right now, and something in your head is saying, hey, I don't want to start because of this, or it's not the right time because of this. So I'd love if you would just be honest about that and put it in the chat. Like, what is it that is scaring you or stopping you or holding you back? What do you believe that is? And for my team, Jared and Kenny, we're going to pull some of these up, and we're going to try to, where we see it, break, you know, what are called thought errors or false beliefs, right? Because that's the biggest thing holding most people back, is something they believe to be true or think that they think is a prerequisite or they think is holding them back that likely isn't. And so what would be cool is if we could find at least one of you, right, that we can help kind of change some of that. So first one, that was a good one. You don't need a drone to start. Go for it. Yep. Here's another one. Good one. Common one, right? I have a full-time job as a district manager. So I don't know what are your working hours, David? Put them in there. We'll talk with you about that. Ooh, here's a good one. Not important at all.
Nope.
Right?
I get
very little
emails
time.
daily. People think Norman and Young is a lawyer group. Daily. I get lawyer insurance emails all the time.
It just doesn't matter. People know. Like, Google didn't mean anything before. Apple is a fruit, last I checked. It just doesn't matter. Let's see. Okay. 9 to 5. Perfect. Okay. So for everybody here working 9 to 5, here's the model. Most people generally work a 9 to 5 or some form. So David, you don't have to say how much you make, but I'm just going to say, let's say you make $6,000 a month, right? So I want you to beat that with your real estate media company before you quit. So I'm going to show you the math on how many shoots you need to do to get $7,000 a month. So it's $250 per shoot on average. You need to get in 28 shoots to make $7,000 a month. Well, let's say you're able to work on Saturday and do 4 shoots. You can probably do more than that, but that's 4 Saturdays to make $7,000, right? 4 Saturdays per month. You have, it's really 4.25 Saturdays. So let's see, 4 times 4. So that's 16. So let's say you can do 18 shoots on the weekend. You're going to have to grind, right? I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you're going to have to grind. So that leaves us with, let's see, 28 minus 18. That leaves us with 10 shoots we need to do during the week for the whole month. So you need to do 2.5 shoots a week after hours. So you could do 3 days a week after hours and replace your income. Now, maybe your job's a little bit flexible. Maybe you can drop a shift or like take back a day, or maybe you can have a longer lunch break and do a shoot. But ultimately, you could almost get there just shooting on Saturdays. Now, it's going to be hard to find clients that are only okay with you shooting on Saturday. But I would encourage you to think, hey, can I squeeze one in before work or after? 9's pretty late. You could do a shoot at 7:30. A lot of agents would be fine with that. And so what I'm not saying is going to be easy, but I'm saying most people come into this business pointing this way, I guess is where it is, with a 9 to 5. And so you just have to figure out how to work around it. Now, if you make less than $7,000, awesome. Or if you're able to maybe work your full-time job and make $4K and then save up $3K a month by doing half that many shoots, right? Maybe you can save that up for 6 months, then feel comfortable quitting because you've saved up a bunch of money. So it's all about getting practical with it. And just being like, hey, and that's why we started with how much money you need to make, because you can break down your goals and be like, is this possible? If you work 9 to 5 and you're a surgeon, you're probably not gonna be able to replace your income as a real estate photographer without quitting your job, right? It's gonna be harder, but for the average person, it's just not. Okay. Average for
I like all the
California more. Which one?
Oh, I was gonna say I like all the ones that say I feel like I can only shoot on the weekends. I won't be flexible to agents. I feel like I need to offer all real estate media services, not just start with photography. You feel like that, your agents might not, and you don't know because you haven't reached out to them.
Just a quick side note too. Anytime you start something with I feel like, it means you don't know if that's true, right?
Yep.
Like that's just why you're saying it. You're not saying I know I can only shoot weekend.
Well, you're making a logical conclusion with limited knowledge.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
And thanks for commenting. That's exactly what we wanted to call out. So yes, you will. The truth is you will not be flexible to all agents. Some agents will not work with you if you can only shoot weekends, but you don't need every agent.
We have the exact opposite problem. We have a lot of people that don't like Normandy Young because we don't shoot on weekends, or we charge for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's more about going into this saying like, instead of how this won't work, it's how it will work, right? Like, who do I need to find? Well, I need to find the agents that are okay with weekends. Edwin, coaching, replaunch.com/apply. It's exactly what we do. But if you're not ready for that, you're not committed yet, all my YouTube videos, you can watch them all in there for free. And for everybody else too, you included, there's a cool thing we're announcing at the end that's free. So stay tuned for another 15 minutes and we'll give you that. It's pretty cool.
Back to the average shoot in California. I don't know. I'm very surprised. We have coaching students kind of spread out all over California. Some places in California are very, very, very cheap, and some are not. We've got some that have average order value same as Norman and Young, and then we've got some that are 5 times Norman and Young.
You don't want to be below 250 anywhere.
Yeah, 250 is the floor.
Yeah. Nathaniel, we have people in the UK been doing it well. So we don't do coaching in the UK because the time zones are off and our coaches work during the day. But you can absolutely do this. Properties are going for sale every single day, Nathaniel, that have professional photos. Just look at homes for sale in your area and you'll see a lot of them do. Those were all photographers. With everything in place, what's the drop dead first step to start?
Get gear.
So yeah, I mean, you got to get the gear. That's a good one. You're going to have to do that. In coaching, we have people do a lot the first 3-4 weeks. It's like getting everything set up. So it doesn't really matter where you start as long as you just start getting stuff done that you need to. Jeremy, coaching is based upon a couple things. So your time frame, what your goals are, where your business currently is. That's why we have a team that jumps on the phone to talk with you about it. But it's an all-in investment and all-in commitment from you. You know, you're gonna have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time, and it's not free. And so you can talk with our team more about that specifically for you. But
yeah,
for people
where you start, where you want to end, and how fast you want to get there is basically it.
My average shoot is 150 in Indiana. I'll do just under 100K. Nice, Andrew. So you have the volume. I would say a huge, like if you with just that info, if you were a coaching client of ours, I would tell you that first priority is getting that from 150 to 250, right? So let's say you're doing 90K at 150. I'm going to divide 90K at 150. Okay, so you're doing 600 shoots a year. If we can get that to 250, you just made 150 grand without doing any extra shoots. So that would, one of the things we look at when we're coaching is a bottleneck structure with a cost acronym. So we always believe there's one thing holding your business back more than everything else. So like for your business, again, I don't know much about it, Andrew. I only know what you told me. So I'm working limited info here. But if you told me that, I'm like, well, we could get you more clients, right? But it's going to be way more if we just get you more per client as a first step. So I would encourage you to look at that. Indiana, you can totally get $250. It's just a matter of having the right pricing, the right packages in place, how you upsell your services, how you present your services. All of that really matters. And so I would encourage you, moving into this year, I think you can do 150 grand this coming year without growing in terms of the amount of clients you work with, the amount of shoots you do. And that's the best kind of growth, right? Is getting paid more to do the same amount of work. It's all profit for the most part.
Oh man, all those questions is going down from there are good.
Can you run the front of an existing studio?
I will tell you from a coaching perspective, when we start looking at people's competition, I love to see places that have weddings, lifestyle, and then real estate at the very end, because they're going to be so easy to beat. That if you want to do this right, separate them completely.
Yeah. Do I have a website with my portfolio set up? Nope.
It's called Instagram. That's your portfolio now.
Let's see.
If you can afford, if you're good at building websites, or you can afford to buy somebody right off the bat to make you a website, go for it. You don't need it.
You don't need it.
That is the number one thing I would say that people use as an excuse to wait to reach out to agents is I don't have a website yet. I don't have a website. You don't need a website. You're making
the number one
to push it off.
It is the number one thing for sure. 100%. We actually don't recommend in coaching really ever to get a website, but definitely not before you're doing at least 10K a month. Like at some point you'll just have to get one, and it just is what it is. But like, don't kid yourself into thinking that's what grows your business. Adero, yes. So we have a lot of, I think some of our most successful clients too are in real estate as well, because it's really easy to, like, the industry, you have connections already. I think it's interesting because a lot of people think that like, I know photographers that make way more than the average agent. I feel like I know more photographers who make money than more agents. And a lot of it, like, people think it's like photographer is like down here, right? And real estate agents up here. And like, eventually maybe you'll become a real estate agent. Like, no, there's so many broke real estate agents. I know a lot of photographers make a killing. What were you going to say, Jared?
Well, I was going to say, because I think the next 3 questions are licensed agent and being a photographer. I would recommend stop being a real estate agent. Keep your license, keep access to MLS, keep super access, all that. Do not market yourself as an active agent, because yes, you will lose clients over that. They don't like, you're going to have to be part of a brokerage. They're not going to like competition being involved in their process. You need to be like, I am a licensed agent, but I am not currently practicing. If you're going to go all in on this, go all in on this. You cannot be doing both, because it will lose you clients.
And my thing, Vanessa, too, is like, I don't know where, I mean, if you're making $250,000 a year as a real estate agent, maybe don't take that advice, right? But my guess is you're question because you're not as a real estate agent. I think it is actually easier to build a real estate media business than it is to be a real estate agent. But what I go back to is like, what do you want to do? So my guess is if you're here on this live on a Friday night, right, you maybe are questioning whether you want to stay a real estate agent. Maybe wrong, right? I don't know you specifically, but that's what we see with a lot of agents who make the transition is they were excited about it. It was different than they thought. They're maybe not fully committed. So if that's you, I would, if there's any decisions where you're kind of halfway between two things, my advice is always pick one and go with it. Don't, half-ass both. Because I think where a lot of people go wrong, and it's funny, it happens like when people's business starts growing, they start looking for other stuff. They're like, hey, I'm making 20K a month doing this. What about if I add 10K a month doing this? And what ends up happening is they just still make 20K a month. They just make less from both. And so it's in my opinion, one of the best things you can do for your business, like depending on what your goal is, right? If you want to do something, do it. But one of the best things you can do just from a business perspective is do less, but better. There's a book I recommend called Essentialism that talks about less, but better. And I think it's funny because it's advice you'll hear from all different types of entrepreneurs. They always say that you just have to take stuff off your plate. It's about doing less, but doing that one thing really well. And so I don't think there's really ever a situation where someone can be a great real estate agent and great real estate media business owner at the same time. Something's going to suffer. And when something suffers, it means your competition has a better chance of taking business from you, right? Because they're like doing, and it's not even like they take it from you. It's just you don't do the right stuff to get the business because you're focused on two very different things. Okay.
Yeah, and I saw somebody ask earlier, like, how important is branding stuff? I will answer the same thing if you ask me about branding stuff. It's gonna end up being a separate part of your business, and you're gonna end up giving 50% to both, and just go where the money's at, and that's not in branding. If you want to do branding, if that's what you love to do that. Just you're not going to be able to do both at the same time effectively, until you're a big business. And if your real estate photography business runs without you, do branding. You got all the time in the world to focus on that. But do not try to start up two things at once.
What are you going to say, Kenny?
Files are massive. Why are they massive?
Yeah, that's a you problem. That's not a normal thing for everybody.
Most be like 8 gigabytes, and that's like super max. Real estate videos should not be having like overcomplicated settings or anything. Goes along with this thing. No, you don't need advanced video production to increase the check. Just do the same. Like, if you just simplify your process and just do that over and over again, you're gonna get that check. Doing this is how you become an artist. You're gonna spend hours and hours doing this. We know a lot of people who do those type of videos, and my goodness, like you choose to be in business because you want that freedom and that check. But as soon as you start doing this, you may see that check, but it's not going to be as big as you think, because you're going to spend Monday through Sunday just working on all this, staying up to like 3 a.m. And I mean,
There's your artist answer right there. He just S-log.
Then you're going to be in prison, like Kenny always says.
Yes, you're going to be in prison. I mean, if you look at Norman Young videos, they're good enough. 80-20 rule. 80% there. That extra 20% is not worth it. And that's how you shoot with S-Log, make more advanced video production and all that. If you want Norman Young style videos, that's how you get to Eli's level, that he doesn't even touch his business at all. If you want to go into the more advanced video production, you're going to be in that business Monday through Sunday. You're going to hate your life, and that check isn't going to matter at all.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
20% more work for 5% difference.
If that, yeah.
That's me. Yeah, it's the artist trap. I think the more stuff you do like that, like Kenny said, the more time you spend, but also the harder it is to scale because it's more complex. So in my business, we have a really simple process. So when we hire someone, it's really easy to train them, and everything kind of works in that, works in the same direction. And that's important. I think kind of what Kenny said, and something we talk about a lot, is there's two reasons most people here will get into business or have gotten into business. You can feel if this is true for you or not when I say it. But number one is they want to make more money. It's pretty much a universal. People want to make more money. And so like, hey, if I have my own business, I can have control. I don't have to ask a boss for a raise. Number two is they want to have more freedom, time freedom, location freedom, whatever. You ask so many business owners that focus on the artistic side, they're not making more money and they don't have more freedom. I heard a stat earlier, which is 20% or 80% of people who get into business and they're self-employed make less than they would at an equivalent W-2 job. So they make less being self-employed. Only 20% make more. And that's because so many people focus on the wrong stuff. So speaking of the wrong stuff, everybody here probably knows that there was going to be a cool announcement. We told you there was going to be a fun bonus for you for being here live, and that bonus is completely free. It's time to talk about that now, which is we are doing a virtual event in December that is completely free and is going to be a very detailed 2024 build your business roadmap. So if you either want to start a real estate photo business, already have a real estate photo business, but you're maybe not doing that much revenue yet, or you have a business that's growing, we're putting together an awesome event. The dates have not been announced and you're here, so you get the first grab on that. It is going to be in Zoom, meaning there is going to be a maximum amount of people that can attend. Hence the reason you being first makes a difference. So if you want to attend that, it's going to be kind of like these lives, but even better, more structured. It's going to be super cool. Dates have not been announced, but I just put the Typeform link there. So if you want us to send you info when it goes live, fill out that form. It's going to ask you for your info and then ask you where your business is at the end. Highly encourage you to sign up. Like I said, it's going to be in Zoom, so there will be a limit of how many people can go in there. It's completely free. It will be in December. And we're going to be showing you exactly how to get your business launched in 2024. So it's going to be a great virtual event. We are having fun with the whole Black Friday is free this year. So instead of selling you something, we're doing something for free. We've done those the last couple of weeks. Hope the lives have been good and you've learned a lot. And I hope you're inspired to start your business or grow it in 2024. That's my ultimate goal, right? Continuing that, here's an awesome free event. The only thing that we can do for you is coaching when it makes sense. And so my goal is to help you figure out what you want to do, give you the tools to get started. Or maybe if you're someone that wants to jump in on day one, awesome, you can jump into coaching now. But I want to give you the resources to help you make that decision by doing these free trainings. So when you're ready, we'd love to have you do that link down there, replaunch.com/join coaching. But until then, maybe if you're not quite ready yet, I highly encourage you to sign up for that virtual event. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be value packed. So let's see who signed up. I'm going to pull up the link here and I'll tell you live who's signing up. It's easy to sign up when it's free. Huh? Okay, let's see. We got 28 already of you have signed up. Ready but broke. That's good. Everybody starts broke. Let's see who's signed up in here. Read off some names. 31 now. You guys are crushing already. Jamie, Dylan, Brian, Brad, Billy, Renata, John, David, Ronald. Cool. Let's see. Let's refresh it again. See how many of you have. I don't know how many we can. I think we can have 100 in the Zoom room. And there's 34 already signed up like 5 seconds in. So.
Hey, that's fine. Save us the marketing stuff on the back end.
Yeah.
If we get everybody here to
have
move over to Zoom, that's fine.
So up to you. It's going to be in December. That's for sure. The rest of it will be announced. And we may do 2 different events, one for people just starting and one who already have a business. So sign up in there. We'll ask you for that info about where your business is at. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have some people from coaching come in there who've grown their business super quickly and share. It's going to be like a mini conference virtually. and I'm super excited about it. So how many of you have been here? How many trainings have we done now, Kenny? 5?
5, 6, yeah.
How many of you have been here for 4 or more over the last 2 weeks? I'm just curious. How many of you guys? Drop it in there. I'll put the link again for everybody wanting to grab your tickets for. This is the last in person for now until the virtual event. Black Friday is today. We did a bunch of them leading up to Black Friday. This is the final one. We'll be doing some in the future, so watch your email, but there's no currently planned now except for this. Nice. Jeremy said second one, just discovered y'all on Wednesday. Oh, nice, Jeremy. You got a lot of YouTube content to catch up on, so you can go back and watch them.
I was going to say, I know Nedvishka's been here for quite a few of them.
4, nice. Congrats. Vivian, all 4, 3. Okay, so cool. Nice. A lot of people attended more than one. I'm glad. It was like kind of built on a continuity thing. So we talked about a different topic every time, but if you missed them, the first one we told everybody was not going to be recorded, and we stuck by our word, but the other ones we recorded because we had a bunch of people there like, hey, I'm in Europe and it's literally 3 a.m. So I got a soft spot for you because I do not like being up at 3 a.m. So they're archived on there. If you go to my channel on YouTube, I think they're on Facebook as well, but if you go to YouTube and you go to lives, you'll see them in there. Made it to every Rockout Media. Congrats. You won Black Friday. Let's see how many of you guys have signed up now. We'll hang out for a little bit longer. If you haven't, it's a type form link. 52. So more than half. I think it's 100 in the Zoom room. We'll see. But more than half are sold. I'm pretty sure you can increase that. Stick with 100. So 3 sessions, Renata said. Ronald, greetings from Lima. Lima, Peru, Ronald, or Lima, Ohio? So we know someone from Lima, Ohio as well. The guy who does 12,000 shoots a year, actually. Is big real estate media business. Jamie made it to 3. Nice. I think most of you are on YouTube, which is interesting because we did it live on Facebook too. I guess the link in the email was on YouTube. This looks like Jamie, you were on Facebook. Missed some of the training. Some of them are private. Now, there's only one that's off, Adero. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, correct me. I hate mispronouncing people's names. Lots of homework to do. Nice. There's a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel too. If you haven't checked it out yet, first of all, subscribe because then you're going to just get blasted with my videos. And I say that as kind of a joke, but also it's so important to immerse yourself in something you're trying to do. It's like, the fastest way to learn a new language, like if you want to learn Spanish, move somewhere that speaks Spanish, right? Same thing with anything you want to learn, immerse yourself in it. So the cool thing that when you subscribe or when you like my videos or you comment, that feed is going to keep showing you my videos and you're going to get annoyed watching me. And I am grateful for that because that means you're seeing a lot and hopefully it helps you be immersed into this. It's kind of step 1 is like, you got to commit to this and then immerse yourself because that's what you need to do. So
yeah,
cool.
And follow me and Mr. West on Instagram.
Yeah.
Give us a reason to post.
These guys know what they're doing.
If you have any questions, we're all available.
Yeah.
Follow them on Instagram at Benjamin.
Yeah, maybe I'll do some AMAs or something.
You should.
Nice.
Yep. 12,000 shoots a year is a big ass business.
Yeah.
Dozens of photographers, lots of office staff, a cool office. Todd has an awesome business. Cool. Well, thanks so much for being here, everybody. Hope you got some fun out of this. Hope you didn't spend too much on Black Friday like the rest of society does. Save yourself from that. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I'll drop the link one more time to grab tickets. Let's see how many. Let's do a final on how many. There wasn't even 100 here. So you guys had the first 60 or 58 we're at. So we'll send you more info on that. Looks like most of you are just starting, so that's super cool. But anyway, thanks so much for being here. We had a fun time doing this. Like normally Black Friday, we're like selling a course, and I don't like doing that as much as I like doing these. So thanks for being a part of it. Cool change for us, doing something different. Appreciate your time. I know especially those of you guys that attended 3 or 4 sessions, you had to sit here and listen to us for a while. So I hope you got a ton of value out of that. I'm excited to have those of you that are new to our community here. And Jared, Kenny, thank you guys for being here. We'll see you all very soon.
Of course.
If you guys saw us for a second, that was because I every single time forget to hit the loop button on our intro. So anyway, hope you all have a great night. See you soon.